If it's been weeks since you've woken up with that solid morning erection, if you find yourself turning your back instead of wrapping your arms around your partner, if you've recently started to quietly wonder if those days of burning desire, those nights of passionate connection, are gone for good, then this video is for you. I'm Dr. John Miller, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of clinical experience. In that time, I've worked with thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, helping them reclaim the vitality, confidence, and masculine power they thought they had lost. But what I'm about to share with you today isn't from a textbook. It came from a patient, a quiet, stoic old soldier who walked into my office in his late 80s. He looked at me calmly and said, "I still wake up hard as a rock every morning. Never touched one of those little blue pills." I had to ask, "What's your secret?" He answered with a simple sentence, "A little snack before bed. Not a pill, not a supplement, just a small bowl with 4 simple ingredients you probably have in your kitchen right now." And when I dug deeper, what I discovered absolutely astonished me. Because this bedtime snack doesn't just help you sleep deeper, it can trigger testosterone production, reduce performance anxiety, open up your blood vessels to improve circulation, and fire up those powerful physiological signals, all while you're fast asleep. Just 4 natural foods, no chemicals, no side effects. Just a few minutes before you go to sleep. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what they are, why they work, and how you can start tonight. And I believe, if you're ready, this could change everything. Before we continue, if you want to reclaim your masculine edge and live your later years strong and fulfilled, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I'll be sharing a lot more practical knowledge like this, just for men like you. And if what I'm saying resonates with you, please comment the number 1 below. If not, leave a 0 so I know where I need to improve. Now, let's start with the first ingredient. It might sound simple, even familiar, but you'll be surprised by its real power for men's health. 1 bananas, the chemical powerhouse for male vitality. Growing up, I saw my dad eat a banana every single night before bed. He never said why, and nobody asked. It was just one of those quiet, simple habits, like so many older men have. I never gave it a second thought until years later, when I became a doctor, when I started seeing thousands of men coming to me for fatigue, erectile dysfunction, and a loss of libido. That's when I realized my father was onto something very, very right. The seemingly ordinary banana is one of the most underrated foods for supporting a man's vitality. It's not just about the potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and heart health. More importantly, bananas are rich in tryptophan. This is an amino acid your brain uses to produce serotonin, the neurotransmitter that improves your mood, soothes anxiety, and stimulates desire. And serotonin is the precursor to melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and get proper, deep sleep. You see, testosterone, the most critical hormone for a man, is only produced in significant amounts when you're in a deep sleep. Not enough sleep. Your testosterone plummets. You lose energy. You lose that masculine feeling. You lose that connection. I saw this in one of my patients, Bill, a 67-year-old retired teacher. He came to my office looking exhausted, telling me he felt listless for months, had no interest in anything, and was avoiding intimacy with his wife. He was considering testosterone therapy, but I told him, "Hold on, let's try this first." We adjusted his diet, prioritized his sleep, and one of the simplest things I introduced was eating 1 ripe banana before bed. Just 1. 2 weeks later, he came back with a slight smile. I'm sleeping better, and I'm waking up feeling like a man again. I understood without him needing to say more. Because besides tryptophan, bananas also contain vitamin B6, which helps convert cholesterol into testosterone, a critical link many people overlook. A B6 deficiency can cause testosterone levels to gradually decline without you even realizing it. And that's not all. Bananas also contain bromelain, an enzyme that supports blood flow, improves sperm quality, and helps blood circulate more forcefully to the areas that need it most. Plus, they have magnesium, a mineral that helps reduce inflammation in the prostate, which is a major weak point for men over 50. At this point, you might be asking, just one banana? Yes, not a drug, not a miracle cure, just a banana, at the right time, in the right way. Eating it at the moment your body needs it most before bed helps your brain produce serotonin for a deeper sleep, better testosterone regeneration, and relaxed blood vessels. No side effects, no dependency, just your body, getting the support it needs to heal itself, the way nature intended. Many men used to laugh when I told them to eat a banana before bed. That's it, they'd say. But 2 weeks later, no one was laughing anymore. Instead, I saw brighter faces, straighter postures, and a look of confidence that said, I'm not over the hill yet. That's the power of food, of slowing down, listening to your body, and feeding it what it needs. But a banana is just the beginning, because the next ingredient is a spice once reserved for kings. It not only reawakens desire, but has been clinically proven to improve erection hardness and pleasure, while also boosting your mental health. And just a tiny pinch before bed could be the key your body has been waiting for. 2. Saffron, the golden spice that awakens desire and emotion. When you mention saffron, most men shake their heads. Isn't that some expensive spice people use in fancy European dishes? I used to think so too, for years. I saw saffron as just a colorful ingredient sitting quietly in high-end food shops, until I met George. He was 72, and came to see me nearly a year after, losing his wife. He was a quiet, gentle, introverted man. After a long period of grieving, he began to open his heart again, started dating, but ran into a major obstacle. He told me in a whisper, I can't. My body just doesn't respond anymore. It's like I've been completely switched off. We started with the basics: improving sleep, eating well, reducing stress. But the turning point came from a tiny change. I suggested he add a pinch of saffron to a warm cup of water with honey before bed, or sprinkle it on his evening snack. 3 weeks later, he returned, sat down in the chair, and smiled faintly. I don't know if it was the saffron or because I'm sleeping better, but I feel alive again. Doc. I've never forgotten that moment, because behind that smile was a recovery not just of the body, but of the will to live, of emotions that had gone dormant. Saffron isn't just a royal spice, it's a natural medicinal herb used for centuries in traditional medicine to reduce fatigue, balance emotions, and increase libido. And today, modern science is proving it. In several randomized, controlled studies, saffron has been shown to significantly improve symptoms of erectile dysfunction in men, not by forcing a reaction like a drug, but by supporting the entire system from psychology to blood vessels to the nervous system. The main compounds in saffron, crocin and safranal, act as calming agents on the nervous system, reducing anxiety, stress, and mild depression, 3 silent enemies that destroy a man's confidence as he gets older. When the mind is at peace, the body can get ready. When your heart isn't heavy, desire has a chance to return. Not only that, saffron also has powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that protect the cardiovascular system and the tiny blood vessels, the very places where blood needs to flow strongest to create a physiological response. One study showed that after just 10 days of regular saffron use, men improved the frequency and quality of their erections. Another study noted that sperm quality and pleasure also increased significantly. And the participants in these studies weren't young athletes. They were middle-aged and older men, just like you, just like me. So why isn't this information more common? Because saffron isn't profitable for pharmaceutical companies. You can't patent it. You can't advertise it with big campaigns. But its effects are clear, natural, and long-lasting. No dependency, no long-term side effects. I've recommended saffron to many patients, and I always tell them the same thing. If your body feels out of sync, if you feel cold, lacking fire, lacking connection, don't try to force it, make gentle adjustments. And saffron is like a single note that helps you find the rhythm again. It won't make you explode overnight, but it reawakens the rhythm of your emotions, rekindles that warmth, and revives the desire that has been dormant. I'll always remember what George said during his follow-up visit. I don't just feel stronger. I've started dreaming again. I find myself happy, teasing, knowing how to miss someone, how to long for them. Saffron doesn't just make you hard, it makes you feel. And once the mind is calm and the emotions have returned, the body needs one more thing, the power to respond. That's where our next ingredient comes in. A familiar, fragrant spice from many of our childhoods. But you might be using the wrong kind, and that's why it hasn't been working. 3. Ceylon cinnamon, the silent warrior of your circulatory system. I still remember my childhood so clearly. There was always a special scent in the air, the smell of cinnamon in the hot milk my grandmother used to make me on cold nights. It was fragrant, warming, like a soft blanket wrapped around a child's soul. Back then, I just thought cinnamon was a flavoring spice. It wasn't until I became a doctor that I realized my grandmother was giving me a healing remedy every day. But there's something very few people know. Not all cinnamon is the same. Most of the cinnamon you see in the supermarket, the cheap, common kind, is cassia cinnamon. It's related to true cinnamon, but it's not what you want if you're trying to improve your sexual health, boost circulation, and stabilize blood sugar. What you need is Ceylon cinnamon, also known as true cinnamon. It has a lighter aroma, a milder taste, and most importantly, it's not toxic to the liver and is safe for daily use. I remember one patient clearly, Robert, a 74-year-old retired long-haul truck driver. He was a big, sturdy guy, but you could see a deep exhaustion in his eyes. He had high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, and his intimate life with his wife had been non-existent for a long time. He said something that really struck me. I don't need to be 20 again. I just don't want to feel invisible. We worked together to adjust his diet and lifestyle, and I introduced one simple habit into his nightly routine: add a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to his pre-bed snack. Sometimes sprinkled on a banana, other times stirred into a cup of herbal tea. 2 weeks later, he felt better. A month later, his blood pressure started to drop. His blood sugar was more stable. And one morning, he walked into my office, smiled faintly, and said, "Doc, it's back." Not like a young guy, but steady, enough to make me feel like myself again. You see, without circulation, there's no erection. It's that simple. You can have the desire, you can have the emotion, but if your blood vessels are clogged, inflamed, or stiff, your body can't respond. Ceylon cinnamon is the powerful ally that helps clean and soften those blood pathways. It reduces inflammation in the blood vessels, helping them become more flexible and elastic, and increases blood flow to where you need it most. It doesn't stop there. Cinnamon also helps control blood sugar. As you get older, insulin resistance starts to creep in silently. You might not have diabetes, but fluctuating blood sugar is enough to damage the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, the place where nitric oxide is produced. Nitric oxide is the chemical that allows blood to rush into the genital area. Without nitric oxide, there is no erectile response, no matter how strong your desire, and that's where cinnamon shines. Many studies show that cinnamon helps lower fasting glucose, increases insulin sensitivity, and reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes, all of which lead to healthier blood vessels, stronger circulation, and a better response. But what impresses me most isn't the numbers, it's the returning smiles. The men who had given up, who now wake up with that quiet joy of knowing, my body is still alive. It can still respond. Just a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon each night, stirred into warm tea, sprinkled on a banana, or mixed with honey. And you're not just helping that. You're healing your entire circulatory system, supporting your heart, and getting your body back in its natural rhythm. And if cinnamon is the spice that helps blood flow smoothly and steadily, then our final ingredient is the fuel that gives a final boost to testosterone, protects the prostate, and helps the body regenerate natural desire. And what's special is, you've known it since you were a child. It's sweet, comforting, and incredibly nutritious. 4 raw honey, the fuel for testosterone and silent recovery. There's something very special about raw honey. Maybe it's the way it drizzles slowly from the spoon, or the warm aroma that fills the air when you stir it into a warm evening tea. For me, it's a childhood memory. Every time I had a cough, my mother would say gently, "Just 1 spoonful, son. It'll make you feel better." Back then, I just thought honey soothed my throat. But the longer I've practiced medicine, the more I've worked with hundreds of men who've lost their energy, their testosterone, and their connection, the more I realize that honey, if it's the right kind, used the right way, is a powerful but gentle recovery tonic. But not just any honey will do. You need raw, unpasteurized honey, the kind that still has all its enzymes, minerals, antioxidants, and living nutrients. Why? Because this kind of honey isn't just sugar. It's an entire support system for your endocrine, circulatory, and nervous systems. I'll never forget a patient named Mike, a 69-year-old retired firefighter. He was a tough guy, but he walked into my office with a weary look in his eyes. He said, "Lately, I just feel fuzzy, like I'm living life, but the signal isn't coming in clear." His testosterone was low, his sleep was poor, and his intimate life was strained. I didn't rush to prescribe medication. We made small adjustments, and one of the things I introduced was 1 spoonful of raw honey each night. He looked at me and laughed. That's it. 3 weeks later, he came back. His posture was different. He stood taller, his eyes were brighter, and the first thing he said was, "Doc, that honey thing, it's for real." So why is it so effective? Honey supports testosterone. Not by forcing it, but by creating a favorable environment for your endocrine system to heal itself. Raw honey contains boron, a rare but crucial trace mineral. It plays a role in balancing male sex hormones, and several studies have shown that boron helps naturally increase free testosterone levels, especially when combined with good sleep and stable blood sugar. Honey helps control blood sugar when used in the right dose. It doesn't cause a spike like refined sugar because it also contains enzymes, antioxidants, and nutrients that support the liver. which is where excess estrogen is cleared out, allowing testosterone to rise, and most importantly, honey stimulates the production of nitric oxide, the signaling molecule that helps blood vessels relax and pushes blood to the genital area. This is the exact same mechanism used by that famous little blue pill. No nitric oxide, no erection, and honey activates it naturally, sustainably, without dependency. Furthermore, honey is a natural anti-inflammatory agent, helping to repair the endothelial lining of blood vessels that has been damaged by stress, lack of sleep, smoking, or just age. For men who have spent their entire lives shouldering burdens for their families, those blood vessels need healing. I've seen this happen time and time again. Men who thought they were past their prime, living in a state of fatigue and indifference, who with just one spoonful of honey each night began to feel their vitality return. Then their energy, then their desire. It's not loud, it's not sudden. It's just a quiet wave of recovery. A note: don't use the honey in the plastic squeeze bottle that's been pasteurized. You need raw, organic, unheated honey, just one small spoonful each night, stirred into warm water, drizzled over a banana, or mixed into your nighttime snack. Now, imagine what happens when you combine all 4 ingredients. The banana provides the neurotransmitters for desire. The saffron awakens emotions and relieves stress. The Ceylon cinnamon opens up blood vessels and stabilizes insulin. The honey restores testosterone and repairs the endothelium. It's not magic. It's not an ancient secret. It's just real food, used at the right time, in the right way. So how do you do it? How do you turn these 4 ingredients into an easy, delicious habit you can stick with every night? I'll guide you step by step. It takes less than a minute a day and could change how you wake up every morning. Your 1-minute pre-bed ritual. A step-by-step guide. Now you understand the individual effects of each ingredient, from your mind to your blood vessels, from testosterone to sleep. But the real power lies in the combination. When they're introduced to your body at the right time, in the right way, they're no longer just food. They become a recovery ritual, a message to your body that it's time to rest, regenerate, and renew. And the best part, you don't need to be a chef. You don't need any complex equipment. You just need less than 1 minute each night. Here's how to do it. Step by step 1. Take 1 ripe banana. Not green, but not overripe. The kind that's soft and easy to mash. Peel it. Place it in a bowl, and use a fork to gently mash it until it's smooth. You can do this slowly, letting your mind relax with each movement. 2. Add a small pinch of saffron, about 6 to 8 threads, or 1/4 teaspoon if you're using powder. Sprinkle it evenly over the mashed banana. This is your desire awakener, your mind soother, your mood lifter. 3. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. Remember, the true cinnamon, not the common cassia kind. Mix it in. You'll notice the warm aroma begin to rise, a feeling that's both familiar and ancient, like the taste of a memory. 4. Finally, drizzle 1 teaspoon of raw, organic honey on top. Let the honey flow slowly, as if you're pouring a little bit of nature's healing sweetness into your body. Now, sit down and eat it slowly. No phone, no TV, no email. Just you and this moment. Eat this snack the way you'd talk to a loved one, gently, with presence and full of respect. And when you're done, don't rush. To wash the bowl or check your messages. Let your body settle and relax. Maybe drink a cup of non-caffeinated herbal tea. Read a few pages of a light book, or simply sit quietly in the soft light. You've just given your body a gift, and it will repay you with silent recovery. Because while you sleep, enzymes will begin their repair work. Sex hormones will start to regenerate, Nitric oxide will prepare for the morning's blood flow, and emotions will start to rekindle in the background. Do this every night for 7 to 10 days. You will likely feel small but powerful changes. Deeper sleep, waking up more alert, a warmth returning to your emotions, and a quiet confidence you thought you had lost. I've seen that look in the eyes of men who walked slowly into my office and returned with a brighter gaze, straighter shoulders, and a smile that was subtle but full of life. One patient once told me, "This morning, my wife put her hand on my shoulder and said, 'You look like your old self again today.'" He wasn't smiling because of the physical part. He was smiling because he was back. The question now is, are you willing to give yourself 1 minute each night, not to get your youth back, but to nurture your manhood, to tell your body that you still have value, that you are still a whole man? You don't need pills. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need to approve of yourself. Conclusion: you are not over the hill. If you've stayed with me this far, I want to spend these last few moments talking not as a doctor, but as one man talking to another man. I understand that feeling when you reach an age where the world starts to look right through you. When you feel you're no longer attractive, no longer relevant, no longer have a voice. When every morning isn't a new beginning, but just another tired, repetitive habit. I have seen hundreds of men fall into that state. They don't scream, they don't rebel, they just quietly shrink, living smaller and smaller because they think their time is over. But I'm telling you today, and I hope you carve this into your mind, you are not finished. You are just waiting to be reawakened. What I've shared with you today isn't magic. It's not a trick. It's 4 real foods: banana, saffron, cinnamon, and raw honey. They were chosen because they work with your body. No force, no chemicals, no false promises. They create the conditions for your body to do what it already knows how to do: heal. They reawaken what you thought you'd lost: desire, connection, confidence, presence in your body, in your emotions, in your life. You know, I've seen men walk into my clinic with their shoulders slumped, and then return a few weeks later with clear eyes, a steady gaze, and a simple phrase: "I feel like myself again." They didn't get younger. They didn't turn back into 20-year-olds. They returned to themselves with a sense of peace, pride, and a kind of energy that isn't loud, but makes everyone take a second look. I don't promise this will change you overnight, but I do promise that if you are patient, if you respect yourself, if you allow your body to recover each night, then 7 to 10 nights from now, you will start to notice. You'll wake up with more energy. Your mind won't be so foggy. And when you touch your partner, you won't feel awkward or distant anymore. You will want, and you will be able, because you are not too old. You are not broken. You are not worn out. You just needed the right touch to reignite the fire that's still smoldering inside you. And if you need someone to remind you of this every day, I'm here. If this video touched something in you, please hit the like button so I know I'm not just talking to myself. Share this video with another man who might also be silently struggling with the feeling of having lost himself. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the journey to mastering your masculine power doesn't stop here. You are not too late. You are just getting started. I'll see you in the next video.